Well, we are live. We are live. There's no pomp and circumstance, no countdown as usual. We are just live on Facebook. So, without further ado, my goodness, do we have an awesome show lined up here today? My next guest knew she wanted to be an actress from being about 5 years old. She'd point to the TV set and say to her mother, "One day I'll be in that television because they always seem to have so much fun." Well, she did just that, co-starring in big Hollywood movies, penning her own films, and gaining international recognition at film festivals. Debbie's story is inspiring, and she's never taken no for an answer. When doors closed for her, she'd just go out and make her own movies. Her latest creation is a pilot for an 8-part series entitled A Beautiful Distraction. It's a psychological thriller which draws you in from the get-go. It's full of intrigue, stretching your mind as to what's possible and what's out there. It's my delight to bring you American actress, movie maker, and producer, the wonderful, fabulous Deborah Twiss. Thank you for joining me, Deborah.
Thank you for having me.
So, you're surrounded by pets and cats.
Yes, very much. My blind cat right now, he is obsessed. This is Jamie. He is obsessed with the computer.
Right.
So,
So to begin, obviously the world's in lockdown. You're out in New Jersey. How's things going for you with regards to the lockdown out in New Jersey?
it's actually becoming a little bit better now. It's been really difficult for a while, but in this last week, especially after, sadly they had to bury one of the town policemen who died of the illness, and that was really very sad. And but since then, it just seems like everything is kind of just, I don't know, settling into a new kind of normal. But there's a lot of weird things that are going on. Like, I've noticed that just as, in this country, it's been like Democrat versus Republican for God forever, and it's been crazy. Now it's this other thing of, people that are supposed to sit in their houses and be terrified and quivering, and those that want to get out and, create herd immunity and that kind of thing. So, and it's it's a radical camp, and people are even doing the usual thing on Facebook. I'm sure you've seen, where it's like, well, that's it. If you don't believe in wearing a mask, then I'm going to unfriend you. And I'm just like, this is all crazy. It's like, it feels like people are only looking for something to create division and hatred. That's it. That's the bottom line. And they'll create it out of anything. You could say it's beautiful outside, and there'll be people that say, well, I'm going to unfriend you if you don't say that, it's cloudy. It's crazy.
Family and friends. I've seen division within families. And you just think, oh my God, it's not what it's about. You're missing the point.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Have you been missing going out into NYC?
I have, but I actually went a couple of times. I had to go see my accountant and that kind of thing. But yeah, for the most part, I am missing it desperately. But the time that I was there 10 days ago, it's like a ghost town. It's creepy. It's horrible. And I was only a few blocks away from the World Trade Center when it was hit and collapsed and everything. And that was kind of like a ghost town, but it was only in that Tribeca area. This is like the entire city, and Brooklyn and Queens and everything. It's really, it's very disturbing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Even New York, the Big Apple, it never sleeps. The city never sleeps. You could go sort of walk 2, 3, 4 in the morning. There'll be plenty going on. Yeah, it must be strange that. Let's jump into your exciting streaming platform on planettwisted.com. I'd love you to talk a little bit about that, how it came about, what it can offer, etc.
Sure. Well, this is the thing. I have, several films and shows and things like that I've been having with different sales reps and, distribution companies and that sort of thing. But the one thing that I've found is that no matter how much money I spend as an indie filmmaker, whatever I make while I'm shooting is the only thing that I'm ever going to see, because the distribution companies are all the ones making the money. The streaming platforms, everyone, like the filmmaker basically just has to keep like moving forward and hoping and praying that they will, someday hit it big, and they'll have like a movie that's worthy of being produced by an A-list studio so that they can make money. And I'm just kind of in my disgust and frustration, I thought, well, what if there was like a global platform that kind of replaced, some of the sorry, the dogs are guys, a global platform that replaced something like Blockbuster Video or Kim's Video, and everything is subscription based, and that's one of the reasons filmmakers don't make money. Like if I put something on Amazon, I get 10 cents per view. 10 cents. Well, regardless of what they're charging. It's ridiculous. It's just like how a filmmaker cannot make money. And, it's not like we have any kind of government subsidies or anything like that. We're on our own. And, it's possible to get investors for things, but you can only get an investor if you've made money back on things that you've made already. So how do you do that anymore? So I thought, okay, let's create something. Let's create like a platform where, it'll be rentals from different projects throughout the world. I've got so many filmmaker friends that I've met over the years since the 90s, when I went to film festivals that were like legit film festivals, not like, the festival that's like on the block in somebody's garage or in some pizza parlor, like real festivals. And there were amazing filmmakers and people that I met, and they all made these amazing things. And here in the United States, like we haven't seen it. I've got friends that are in France that make films, and we'll never get to see that here because it wasn't in Sundance, or it wasn't at the New York Film Festival. But like, there's some really cool, edgy things. And that's the other thing. Like, first of all, I wanted to make something where people could actually make money back. But I also wanted to have a platform where there's not so much censorship, where like everything doesn't have to be about like Disney princesses finding some guy that's going to come and rescue them. It's like, I'm so disgusted by what we're being allowed to watch and how we're being forced to pay. And I just felt like, what, if you don't like the way something is, change it. And while, I have been talking about this since last September, and it's been a very, very, very difficult road because, I tell people about it, but they don't, oh my God, my animals are going crazy. I tell people about it, but they're like, oh, okay, well, when it happens, let me know. So I got to a point where I was like, okay, I just got to start. And it doesn't matter how many projects are on it. It doesn't matter how it begins. It just has to begin. Like you have to take that plunge. You have to jump out of the plane and let the parachute take you. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do this. What, I've got time on my hands, sort of at the moment. And so why not just go, make something happen. I'm so not good at waiting around. I'm just, I mean, you said it in the intro. I mean, that's what inspired me to start making my own films to begin with. And, now it's time for something way bigger than that.
Yeah, you're certainly far removed from a Disney princess waiting for a Prince Charming to come and rescue her, the stereotypical, the whole rom-com. Well, there's a place for them. As you say, they're a bit trite, a bit tired, overused. So currently on planettwisted.com, you've got Crazytown, you've got A Beautiful Destruction, and then there's a third one whose name escapes me right now.
Hungry.
Hungry.
And it's by there's this very famous, very cool filmmaker from France named Ovidi, and she's an ex-porn star, but this brilliant mind, and she makes these really crazy, sexy movies that you would never, ever, ever, ever be allowed to see them, on Netflix or anything like that. But I thought it was so beautifully done. It was so artistic, and it's like titillating, but it's like crazy, and so when my friend showed it to me, he produced it, and Canal Plus produced it. It was on French television. And I just thought, wow, this would be such a wonderful thing to have, to add. and have like a whole part of this channel that's about these like crazy, edgy things that no one can possibly see. So I'm very excited about that film in particular, and I can't wait to someday meet OVD and her producer that I'm friends with, Stefan Dadarian. He is actually a filmmaker himself as well, and I have a couple of his shorts that are going to be coming up on the platform this week, and then yeah, I'm hoping to get more of those like edgier French films too, because I love that kind of stuff, and it's fun. And while we're all like in lockdown and not allowed to do anything, how great would it be to see some things that are really edgy that, you know, the only other way you get to see them is if you went to a film festival in Europe, and that's not happening for a while.
No. Anyway, how exciting you've got the long-awaited, the much-anticipated, the beautiful Distraction is now on there to rent, as it were, for 72 hours to live stream at an extremely reasonable cost, I might add. I don't know, I watched it the other day. It's excellent. It's epic. But please talk us through the beautiful Distraction, you know, the brief synopsis, or as long as you want, synopsis of the plot, the characters and things.
Well, it's basically about the fact that the end of the world actually happened in 2012, and nobody knew it. It wasn't like the big apocalypse. It was actually energetic. And like what happened was the Great Awakening. And as people awaken, the world is being kind of cut into two timelines. The people that like are ready to change and embrace like what they really are on a more grand level, and the others that are so caught in the old ways that they can't, they go crazy and die, many of them. And it's pretty fascinating, because I feel like that in some way is what's going on right now. So that's another reason why I really wanted to put it out. I was like, wow, this is more applicable now than ever. And if it, I mean, once I'm able to create more episodes, everyone will see. It's like it's very much all about that, about what we're going through right now, and the different layers. So it's really fun.
That's exactly what I thought when I watched it. I was like, oh my God. Because I know how long ago you wrote it, the pilot, and I know you've got another 8 series ready to go, ready to be shot when time and things present. You've also got quite a cast as well, I have to say, as well.
Yeah, I'm really lucky with Adrian Paul from Highlander, Sean Young from Blade Runner, Vivica Fox. It's so cool. Robert Quilhessy, and there's a lot of great actors that, I mean, Eric Roberts wants to be in it, and he kept saying, him and his wife, they're like, when can we come and do the next episode? So I'm like, when I get the financing.
Yeah. It'll happen. I remember when the very first time I interviewed you, it was still very much in your head. You'd done a lot of the writing, but you were still yet to bring it to fruition, and bring it to fruition you have, step by step, piece by piece. You certainly don't let the grass grow underneath your feet. You've also got Crazytown on there. If you want to talk about Crazytown, because I understand you can actually stream that for free if someone wants a taste of your work, another pilot.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And that I have 6 more episodes that are ready to come out pretty soon.
All right.
Yeah, so that's like a whole first season. And back in the 90s, I worked as a dancer to finance my films and be able to pay for going overseas to film festivals. And I was always kind of like even the guys that would come, they're like, wow, you're like a librarian, because I was not a dirty dancer or anything like that. I always stuck to the rules. I was there for whatever money I could make and to be able to just like sit and talk to guys about movies. And I really bonded with the women in a way that nobody would expect. There was me who went to like NYU, and then there were really cool women that were like from Florida that lived in trailers that came up to dance to support like their 3 kids, or there were women that were like going to school to be therapists. I mean, it was wild. There was like so much. There were so many different things that nobody ever expected. I mean, it was like a whole world inside of it, a world. And I'm still friends with so many of the women, and even like the manager of the place that we shot was a customer before. Like he became, it's really sad actually. The general manager one night was in a car accident. And so the owner went to a customer that was there every night and said, do you mind stepping in as GM for the night? And then he never left. And this was like 8 years ago. And, but he's just such a sweet guy. And there were so many sweet, wonderful people. And nobody knows that part of the inside of that world. And I wanted to show it. I mean, yeah, we've got like, so that movie Hustlers came out and it's all about these like A-list, movie stars who like pull a heist, blah, blah, blah. That, that was one thing that happened in like a strip club in Manhattan, a big like corporate, partly mafia run strip club, Scores. But like it has nothing to do with like what that world is for the most part. There's like there's a whole heart to it. And even like the actresses that were in it, they're like, oh my God, I just love being in this world so much. And it wasn't about dancing. It's not about, there's like not very much nudity in this show because it's not about that. It's about like the relationships and, it's really, I love it. I really love the show. And I'm just like, I feel so lucky still that we were able to shoot the entire first season. We just kept going. And I was able to just keep writing and creating. And I have a fantasy now that eventually will be how we do Beautiful Distraction. Once we start, we just don't stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looking back at your career, particularly as a movie maker, do you think had your movies been allowed, for want of a better word, to be more mainstream, do you think it would have impeded your growth, your soul growth, your spirituality?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just a common thing that we all know that, it's when we're in our darkest moments that we, ask God for help. Unfortunately, it's just a human condition. And, always being in this place of wanting more and not getting what I want when I want it kind of led me. So, I'm a firm believer in the fact that nothing happens by accident. Everything happens for a reason. We are meant for certain things. And if I'm meant to help usher in a whole new world for the indie film world, then that would be fantastic. Because just by the nature of what is allowed, there is nothing that's not allowed in the indie film world, except, things that hurt animals or children. But I really love that. And had I made it, in quotes, made it back at the beginning, it would have had to, other things would have had to happen to bring me to this place. And it would have, no matter what, I just know that this is my destiny, to be in this edgier, more grounded and spiritually inspired kind of place.
Amen to that. And I know you talk about in a Beautiful Distraction, you bring in the elements of the law of attraction that's in the dialogue, how you manifest, how you create. Plus, you've got so much more freedom, doing your own projects than you ever would have done making, movies in the mainstream, in Hollywood and whatever else. You'd have so many controls on you, so many provisos and all the rest of it, I would imagine. You think?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's even happened to me with one film that I really love that I made, but I used somebody else's money. And that's what has held it up for years. Confidence Game. It's a really fun, noir, female empowerment kind of thriller. And this guy that found the money for it, not all of the money, I put in a significant amount myself, won't allow me to distribute it unless he gets to take it and recut it. It's like, that's why, I'd rather take my time and make it myself, make money in any way I can off like producing corporate videos or doing whatever, being a delivery girl, I don't care. But like you take other people's money and it's like, you risk being in bed with the devil. It sounds really extreme, but like I literally was in that position.
Yeah, I don't want to go into any detail, but Hollywood doesn't get the best of rap the best of rap these days. There's some dark elements to it. I'm not seeing everyone in Hollywood is caught up in that. I'm really not seeing that. But yeah, it's not necessarily a good sort of place to be associated with these days, is what I'm seeing.
So true. Well, and that's why I don't know if you know of Antonio Sapato Jr.
No.
Do you know who this? You would recognize him. He's like he was popular, I guess, in the 90s and the early 2000s. When I was doing Confidence Game, originally it was going to be a bigger budget, and he was going to be in it, and he loved the script. And I guess about 2 or 3 weeks ago, out of the blue, I got a call from him. Now, this is somebody I haven't talked to in 4 years, so I didn't pick up the call because I thought, he probably butt dialed me or something. 2 seconds later, he texts me. He's like, Deb, give me a call when you get a chance. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I'll do that. Whatever. So I call him, and he's got this concept for this like really cool Western that's actually like a spiritual kind of movie. And he wants me to be the screenwriter for him. And so I'm like, sure, why not? So I'm doing it now. I'm writing this script for him, and he's got all this interest. But it's interesting because the entire cast, and you can look him up on Instagram. It's Trailblazers. That's what the movie's called. And but all the actors that are part of it are all people that have kind of fallen out of favor in Hollywood for one reason or another. And he assembled this great cast of these people. And it's already like got several people interested in financing it and everything. So we'll see how it goes. But he's an example of those kind of people that fall out of favor with Hollywood, and then the next thing you know, what do you do? So now he's like, putting this thing together with me, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I love it. I really love it.
Good. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something else. There's always opportunity, isn't there? Let's hope this lockdown doesn't last too long, and we can start gathering again and being in movie theaters and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Good.
In a beautiful distraction, I recognize the guy who does in the pilot who does the narrating. He's the leading man as well, isn't he? That's the same voice. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Adrian Paul. Yep.
That's right. I couldn't believe it. I was looking him up. He's 60. Oh my God.
Yeah, you'd never believe it. No, it's that clean living and swordplay, I guess.
Oh wait, my God.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Very impressive.
Yes. Yeah. The whole thing's great. I watched Crazytown when it came out. Loved it, as you know. I fed back to you, and then I watched A Beautiful Distraction the other day as well. Awesome, beautifully written. The acting is amazing. It really gets inside your head like any good psychological thriller would do. You leave the audience begging for more, which again a good writer will do.
Nice.
And we've got a question from Alison Duffy. Let's have a look. Does Deborah have any stories about using the law of attraction in her work and creative process?
Yes. Yes, so much. I mean, that's what I do all the time. I mean, when I sit down even to write, I literally kind of like open a portal in the top of my head, and I ask my guides, like, what wants to come through me? I mean, that's like, I can't get more woo-woo law of attraction than that. Shh, come here, Dash, come here. And then beyond that, one of the things that I've found is that, no matter what I'm doing, there's always going to be that moment where I kind of get sidetracked. And rather than fighting that, I remember that, everything is like ultimately leading me where I'm supposed to be. This is so law of attraction that if I just follow it and trust the guidance that's coming, I'll end up where I'm supposed to be, no matter what. And so, I mean, to me, like, I started learning law of attraction when I was 3. So it's always been part of my life. It's in everything I do. Even, I mean, just there's from like the moment I open my eyes, It's, wow, what am I going to create today? It's not what's going to happen today. It's like, what am I going to create today? What am I going to attract? And making sure like my energy and my vibrations in the right place. It's really interesting. And I'm actually doing something right now because it's not been many times that I've been kind of contracted to write somebody else's script. And this is totally Antonio Zapatos Jr.'s idea, but then like I'm bringing it to script format and making like the characters extra deep and dimensional and everything else. So I've been in a water fast and letting kind of like yesterday I had to write this synopsis, and being in a fasted state, I find like the channels are so much more clear. The information comes through so fast. It's like, what does this character want to do? And then I can close my eyes and see it. I can see it like a movie and then just like write it. And it's pretty cool. And it's actually how even I was inspired last week to just begin the channel, just start it. I had the website already. And so it was just about like actually moving forward, getting it out. I've got a publicist. She's putting a press release out in the next like day or two. And it's all law of attraction, everything I do.
Yeah, cool. It's funny, when I was getting ready to come on today, I was thinking of questions I could ask you, and one that came to mind is you're obviously an actress, and do you have any, like apart from the obvious, obviously being useful to you, making movies, starting movies and things, is it useful for anything else? For example, when I used to work in retail management years ago, I used to hate dealing with, customer complaints when they're like in your face, like complaining about something. So what I did was, in my mind, thinking, right, I'm going to pretend we're shooting a movie. I'm the manager. They're the annoyed customer, and it would help me to be detached. And then I would see them like go, meh, 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 meh. Laughing, and I was like, don't laugh. So I just wondered if being an actress can help you in other like real life scenarios.
Oh, absolutely. I've dealt with in some ways, some of the things that I've seen, especially in the last 15 years, have been literally a horror show. And a lot of times will just kind of like, step outside of it and be like, this isn't real. This is like, a really hilarious, dark film that I'm in. And then I can see the humor and kind of like lighten my vibration a little so that I can then get better messages about how to deal with it. But virtually everything I've written too has come from the shit. It's come from the darkness. And it's in those moments of stepping outside of it that I realize, wow, this is a script, and this is why it's happening. Because like, if I can interpret this in a way that other people can grow from it and realize that there are other things. I mean, Beautiful Distraction is really like, in many symbolic ways, my life. Like, it's crazy. It's not me, obviously, because it's way more supernatural than reality is so far. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But like, if anybody that knows me well can watch that and be like, oh, there's Deb. Oh, there's Deb. Oh, there it is. And yeah. It's all from stepping outside of it and like, not being in the crazy. But I mean, I don't think this is an actor's thing. I think this is like, a really valuable, just like you did it. It's a valuable human tool that we can use to just be like, wait, this isn't really. It's like that book by Michael Singer. Oh my God, what's it called? The one where like it's all about how, whoever it is that's in this situation and noticing, oh my God, why I hate this person. Why is this happening? Who is that inside my head saying I hate this person? And if that is being said, I'm witnessing that dialogue. So that dialogue is not actually me. What is me is the one just observing that has no opinion. And so it's a really untethered soul. Yes, thank you, Allison. And that is something that I've used in my life a lot. And that's what all of us use when we are able to kind of, pretend we're in a movie.
Yeah, it does work. It's weird.
Yeah.
I know when I was watching A Beautiful Distraction, I was, I've known you for a few years now, and I was watching thinking, yeah, that's not just acting. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
One of your daughters was in that as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, Sydney, the blonde. Oh my God. And she's so sweet and she's so amazing. And she's, older now. She's, oh my God, I love her so much. But she doesn't want to just be in movies that her mommy makes or TV shows. So I'm a little disappointed about that. I'm hoping that she changes her mind by the time we're ready to shoot again, because I really like her work. And I love working with her and just being around her energy. She's a magical person. That kid, I mean, she was sent straight from God and the universe and source to me as like my little guide. And it's amazing.
Well, to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So,
Well, I thank you, but I actually think, and this is what I believed ever since my children were born. I think that, every generation is an evolution of who we are. So, as a parent, I always wanted to respect the fact that they're more evolved than I am. And I don't let them in on that secret completely so that, they no longer take my parenting. But you can learn a lot from kids by just like giving that acknowledgement, even if it's only internally.
absolutely. Every school day with children. Absolutely. You're not paying attention if you're not learning from them.
Yeah, totally.
So let's get back to planettwisteddebt.com. Well, here's one I prepared earlier. Yep. So, so obviously people can go and check out the website. They can try out, or they can watch for free Crazytown.
Yes, watch Crazytown for free, and there's going to be a lot more free short films and things like that up on the site. I'm going to be putting my 9/11 supernatural drama in between up there.
Seen that as well.
Yeah, and also my other movie, A Gun for Jennifer, that's going to be up there. I'll probably be able to upload that this week. It's funny because, like, with all the other things I'm doing with, I've got my kids home 24/7 right now, all these animals, the house, other personal issues that are still like going on. Watch A Beautiful Distraction and you'll get it. But there's a lot happening. But to then sit down and try to have to build pages on a website, it's just like, what? But there's always time. You always find like half an hour, and especially this week with all these new things going up. Oh, that's another thing. The people that distributed my movie A Cry from Within, they Breaking Glass, and they are putting about 10 of their films up on the site this week.
Oh, cool.
So that's really cool, and they've got like really good cutting edge controversial things. They're cool. So that was kind of a big get. And also there's a great filmmaker from New Zealand that I met through this guy who has his own talk show in New Zealand, Paul Turner. And so I met this really cool woman, and her film is going to go up on the site. So there's like a lot of good things happening. And then the woman who's my publicist is also a comedian, and her show from when she was pregnant is going to go up this week. So it's like a lot of things. A lot of things are going to get up there. And, it's just, I had to start. I couldn't wait. I'm not good at waiting. So let's go, right?
That's good. It's because we all gain from it. So you heard it here first, planettwisted.com. Get yourself on there. A Beautiful Distraction, Crazytown, Gun for Jennifer. Hungry. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. So keep checking back. Debbie, it's always a delight to host you. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always so great to see you. And I can't wait till the day that we're like in the same country and we can have a hug and a drink.
That I'll hold you to that. That's a cool plan. I look forward to that. Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely is. Anyway, much love to you. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.